Peace. I've been writing all night, so I'm gonna make another video. Um, I had a good thing to discuss, and I want to make a video about this particular incident, and that's all. And it's sort of to do with a topic. Um, a few days ago, I at around 2 or 3 in the morning decided to make my morning prayers outside King's Cross Station. King's Cross Station is huge, um, and like it's an international train station. The main train station you want to get from Britain to Europe, you go to King's Cross Station. Um, and so I went there to pray. I live just across the road. I decided to pray outside. I think it's good. That like of all the things that people know about Muslims, praying is the least visible thing and the thing that we do the most and is sort of most special about us. So I wanted to pray outside. I prayed outside. I went that back there for Dhuhr and for Asr and for Maghrib, and then when I was there for Isha, I made 8 rakat, slow. And the interesting thing is this controversy came up during my eighth ruku. So the Muslim prayer, you've probably seen a bit of it, where you start off standing, and then there's some bowing, and then there's some prostrating, and then there's some kneeling, and then there's more prostrating, and then there's either standing or kneeling, depending on which way you're going. And then at the end, you've done 8 individual ruku, bow portions, and during the 8th rakat, nothing bad had happened, nothing controversial had happened. Everything had been sweet for all of my prayers this day outside King's Cross Station, and no controversy whatsoever. I think it was during my 3rd ruku, during Isha, which I had considered to be. In fact, I wanted to do the voluntary ones first for some reason, so this was a voluntary one. But some police people came by, and they're like this side of my qibla, and I can hear them talking, saying, one of them saying very, very knowledgeably, definitely praying. And I'm on my knees, like doing this in the direction of Mecca, and they were correct, I was praying. And then they walked to the other side of my qibla and then tried to ask for some attention from me, and they were happy to go away with like enthusiastic nodding and smiling, that they knew I was praying and not prone to cause a scene. Okay, so then I continue, and I tend to do very long prayers, which I don't make 5 times a day. I look forward to the time I can. Uh, I take long prayers, and 8th ruku, on the intercom, on all the public speaker machines, it says, "Can Inspector Cerns come to the operations room? Can Inspector Cerns come to the operation room?" And it was a pre-recorded message, and I knew something was up because there's no system where you play someone's name and it's a pre-recorded message. So this is like 11 o'clock maybe outside King's Cross in the nighttime, and I'm there and I'm praying, and I know that I'm being watched and being seen as a bomb threat, or I know there's some commotion. I can feel it in my heart that there's people watching going, "Oh, what's that?" And serious thoughts being thrown around in relation to what I'm doing, which is praying very quietly in a very like normal way, probably the most normal way to pray, really. I'm doing that. And somewhere has made the connection, which wasn't my connection to make, but that perhaps there's going to be bombs throwing going off or something. As far as I'm aware, people are very who watch very cognizant of me. They see me going around do weird stuff all the time. They also know that I write. They've also locked me up for writing and doing weird stuff and Muslim stuff. They haven't put the writings next to the actions before. I don't think there's been anyone who's gone anywhere close to reading through my writings and seeing what they're locking me up for. But of course, I went away and I finished my prayers, being very, very intentional not to speed up. If Allah's going to take me away here, He's going to take me away here. If someone's going to shoot me, they're going to shoot me. Do not speed up your prayers because someone says that there's a bomb threat nearby you, or that might be you. That's not in our book. So I finish, and then I Google what is Inspector Cerns, and of course it is. This is what they use for as a code, not to disturb everyone, but to say that there is a bomb threat. Um, it's amazing to be in that situation, and I'm really happy and proud that I was in that situation. Uh, Thanks to God, it's just really funny that like I'm doing the most peaceful thing I can think of, and some people are watching, and they're thinking of the most violent thing I can think of. That's all I have to say about Inspector Sands. Just how distinct, how I was seen from what I was doing. Um, the other like addendum to this is, okay, so that's a problem, and am I going to solve that problem by doing the exact same thing and going there and praying by myself, just showing that people pray peacefully and stuff? I think there's a good use for this, and when I'm thinking, or basically in the past, when I was thinking, well, how can I affect my plan in a slower way than I'm thinking of now, which by now it's just I want all the work done and then say, here, there's it's done. But there was other ways where they're very beautiful, where we could like, if we took our, maybe if I Uma took a census in secret perhaps, and then just said, you know what, because we're totally like the victors of this war, we could actually wait a bit, keep on letting people who are doing astray things do further and further astray things. We're just going to intentionally take it for a little while so that when we announce this, we can say, well, look, we've intentionally taken it for a little more time whilst we were doing something theatrical. But no, we're not going to do that. The theatrical bit would be like if we could maybe make some kind of movement. I'd have loved to have seen this, a movement of like, particularly say the women of Islam who want to fight. Well, go pray in public and we'll have like this meme war going on, and we won't be explicit about what we're doing, but we'll be here and uh I don't know, announce that there's this change coming. But no, it's going to be quicker than that. The West is in trouble too. We don't need to be preaching or praying or changing the West's minds, and in fact it's not about changing the West's minds, it's more about saying, well, no one can fuck around with us, we're Muslims, we're huge and people have tried. So going out and praying in public seemed like an imperative. Then it seemed like it was even more heated than I thought, because I've been locked up praying before in public. But I don't know. I've never had. I got the first time that happened, I was taken under special terrorism rules. But still, no one came and said that I was going to blow up with a bomb, and this was just I'm, I'm praying, and then it seemed more of an escalation than I had seen before. So thanks to God, I got one of these things. I didn't know whether I was supposed to buy it. I spent all of my money for this 2 weeks on a couple of sound pieces. One of them is this Korg Monotron, and it's great. I've been out there with a speaker outside King's Cross, basically making like bomb scream and helicopter noises, but all from an oscillator. Now, because it's an oscillator, I think it's about as halal an instrument as you can get. It's clearly no strings. It's got pictures of the 12 notes on there, but it doesn't actually make just 12 notes. It makes all of the notes within a range of frequencies, and many more things beside. So I mean, this is a really big speaker. This sounds like feedback, and I don't know why sometimes it just turns on with feedback. Uh, what can I do about it? Well, yeah. Uh, and sirens noises, helicopters, sort of maqam changes of notes that don't quite resolve the way you want to. It's great. It's so good for my PTSD. I just sit here and make really loud explosive kind of noises, and people look. The only people who really smiles at me is hijabis, which great. And lets me know I'm doing something correct, because I want people to be disturbed a little bit by it and in a peaceful way. And it's the only use I have for art at the moment, to go sit outside King's Cross and make quite offensive noises with a monotron, but people understand what I'm doing, and they got to understand why. So this seems pretty cool, actually. I like it a lot, and it's a monotron, and monotheism, we like it, so that's good. There's this tradition in Islam of the transgendered, transfeminine person making music, whereas music is something that's not particularly good for us to do. It's at least something that you got to be really, really careful with your intentions to get it right. Basically, I've spent like most of my life being a musician and gone, no, that's not really good for Muslims. Something about this seems like the most sunnah thing I could do with music, and nothing else. Quran is so much better, and even at times I have thought, well, like singing is a good way to practice, what you're going to be able to bring to your tajweed table, but still, even why I don't want to fill my mouth with stuff that's not to do with me and worse. And it's sad to like morally assess your favorite singers and go, and not everyone has to, but there's a good reason that we're reserved about music, and I think there's a pretty cool reason for playing monotone analog ribbon synthesizers in public. Now, if we